I think that the break is coming soon. This is my opinion. This is based only on conjecture. But with my experience in the Pokemon TCG, I think we're 2 to 3 months away from the market finally breaking again. Not necessarily bursting the bubble, because I don't know if we've ever really even thought of it as a bubble, but the signs are there. The cycle continues. If you're looking at sales data, if you're looking at pricing, you probably know that Journey Together prices are diving. Surging Sparks prices are diving. Prismatic prices are diving. And this is off the back of news that we've known about. The Pokemon Company said, we're going to keep printing. We have a lot of printing to go, actually. In fact, Black Bolt White Flare isn't going to be as big of a release as normal because we're going to continue printing all of these high demand sets. Please note that they never used the word short printed, that it was never implied. All that announcement said was that Black Bolt White Flare would not be as big of an initial release. So allocations initially would be smaller. It is not a shorter print run. They're going to print a ton of it. That is a set specifically designed for collectors. They're going to make sure that collectors get their product. That's what they're already doing. We already have these postings for all these retailers that have more prismatic bundles coming out. There's all this hype around Costco potentially dropping within the next few days. They have these amazing bundles for decent prices, actually better prices than most other retailers or LGSs. We're seeing the reprints of Surging Sparks start to hit shelves. It's becoming easier to get product. And when there's product available on websites, on shelves, scalpers don't have a job. And this is another part of this cycle that happens every few years is as hype goes up, the scalpers move in, they make all the money they can, and then when things start to get better for collectors, the scalpers move out. They move on to something else. They'll return to Pokemon in another 3 years when whatever crazy Gen 10 stuff is going on gets more popular. But currently, all the attention is focused on Destined Rivals. An amazing set. An absolutely beautiful set. I want to open this product so badly. Not just for the potential of all the amazing like SIRs, all the alternate arts, but just commons and uncommons. I think there's a lot of beautiful art in this card. There's a bunch of bugs. I love bugs. I love the trainer's Pokemon gimmick, even if it's just, Ethan's pincer. I want to have it. I was not able to get any product on pre-order or when it dropped on the Pokemon Center, so kind of my last chance to open it at release was to go to an LGS. And even at the LGS that I used to manage, where I still know a lot of the people there, their box price was $239, which is ridiculous. And, I understand from a business perspective, I don't know how much they paid for those from distribution, but that is a lot of money for a product that I'm used to paying $109.99 for. I get the prices change, demand changes, but I kind of draw a line there. And that's another sign that I think is indicative. I think a lot of people are just going to say that's too much. Even if, you're a so-called investor, you don't think you're going to get return on that. You're not going to open $250 worth of cards from that box. And although I do really, really want to enjoy sitting down with a sealed box, open the packs, get that dopamine hit of hitting some very pretty cards, I'm just going to have to wait. That is above a price I'm willing to pay, and the Pokemon Company is going to print more of it. There will be a point in time where I can find this product on the shelf and enjoy opening it. It's not right now, but Pokemon has a good track record. When they make an announcement, they live up to it. They did it at the end of Sword and Shield era when we were coming out of a boom. And I think they're doing it right now with Scarlet and Violet. It takes 4 to 6 months for them to say, hey, we're going to be printing more Surging Sparks. We're going to be printing more Prismatic. We're going to be printing more Journey Together. It takes a while for that announcement to occur and then actually seeing the product on the shelves. Actually going into a GameStop or a Target or an LGS and seeing it there in front of you. I know I'm not alone in this boat. I know I'm not the only person that is just going, well, I guess I'll just wait for reprints. I'll wait until the product is cheaper. Or if I can't wait that long, then I'll wait for the price of singles to drop. Because judging by the last few releases and the trajectory of those singles, they will drop. People will open so much product that there will be so many single cards and the prices will drop. Rip and shippers will take care of that for us. And the Pokemon Center's new method seems to be working. Almost everyone I've talked to that wanted Black Bolt White Flare, they were able to get it. And yeah, it's limited to one, but if that's what's fair and that's what makes the consumers happy and that's what gets product into the hands of the people that appreciate the product and don't just want to flip it, then that's great. So as long as they continue to do that, as long as they continue to put more product into the market, whether it be through Costco or Sam's Club or GameStop, whatever works for them, whatever works for the collectors and everyone else in this hobby, it will push the scalpers out. If people are able to just log into Pokemon Center when the pre-order goes up, wait a bit, but still get what they want, scalpers are out of money. The FOMO around these sets is insane. It's not a limited product. We're not talking about, they're only going to print it for 6 months and then it's just gone. That's not what happens. That has never happened with Pokemon. Paying $260 a box for Destined Rivals is stupid because that price is going to go down. They're going to keep printing Destined Rival boxes. If you buy it at that price, you're overpaying. And I get, if you don't care to spend that much money, then go for it. You're helping out an LGS and getting their profits up. And if you think that you're getting $260 worth of enjoyment out of opening that box, then sure, go for it. The rip and shippers may continue to overpay on sealed, but they're also going to be flooding the market with singles, which is also good for the collectors. But when you have systems in place that are making product more available to the people that want it, then you're pushing out some of the scalpers. When you have people continuing to flood the singles market, it's also going to push out some of those scalpers because then the sealed product becomes less desirable. If I know I can just go buy that Crustle and that Yanma that I really want for $3 each, then why would I pay $10 for a pack? We're at a point where things are getting so extreme that people's mentality will change. Their behaviors will change. They will either exit the hobby or they'll wait it out. And I think we're very close to that, especially if the next set drops and Black Bolt White Flare is a small initial release. The FOMO's still going to be high because from what we've seen so far, it's another amazing looking set. Extremely collectible. I don't care if you like black and white or not. It's going to be a good set. It's going to be a popular set. But with a small initial release, FOMO is going to be through the roof. Prices are going to be through the roof. And I think that's going to be a breaking point for a lot of people. Just going, I've not been able to buy Pokemon cards at a reasonable price for the past year. I'm done. Or, like I said, the people that have been in the game for a while will just go, okay, well, I'll wait until fourth quarter hits and the Pokemon printers are running as hot as they possibly can and there's product everywhere and ETBs are back to being $40 on some shelves. That's when we get to thrive. And so all of this money that we've been holding back because we know what the product is worth and what we're willing to pay, once these insane pieces of shit get out of the way and exit the hobby, we can just move back in and enjoy it. And I think that Black Bolt White Flare will be that breaking point, which is good because I'm really excited about these mega sets. I want to see what direction they take. I'm very excited about Legends ZA. I want to see what they do with that game. All the new Pokemon we get, all the new designs. Very hype. I like to buy into that hype for myself. I like to spend money on things that are going to make me happy, which is opening product and getting cool shelf pieces and just collecting. General collector things without having to worry about market forces. But it is not just Pokemon that's in this point. If you look at Magic, Final Fantasy is incredibly hyped. So many people are excited for this set, and prices are doing the same thing as they are for Destined Rivals. Through the roof. There's also a lot of chatter around this next Flesh and Blood set. Digimon's going all out. They have this Cyber Sleuth featured set, which like I love both of those games. I'm so excited for this set. And they're all pretty close together. Especially Final Fantasy, Pokemon, and Flesh and Blood all releasing within just a few weeks of each other with higher prices than we've seen ever. Maybe, if not ever, then in a very long time. So for people that play multiple card games or collect multiple card games, it's going to be a lot. You're going to have to decide, well, do I spend money on Final Fantasy or do I want to try to get in on Destined Rivals? Can I wait both of them out? Can I wait all three, all four of the card games I like out? So decisions are going to have to be made. And this is another factor that I think is just going to lead to a breaking point where someone like myself just goes like, well, Final Fantasy isn't my thing and I'm definitely not paying out of pocket for that. I'm just going to skip out on Magic for a while. Digimon seems more appealing right now. That's where my money's going to go until Pokemon calms down. This level of FOMO and flipping and rip and ship and the battle between collectors and scalpers and investors, it's all too much and it's not sustainable. And I keep repeating this in all of these videos I do. I've seen this before. Anyone that's been in Pokemon for a while sees this and they just go like, yep, it's happening again. That's too bad. I'm just going to have to wait till, 4 or 5 months before I want to even attempt to buy that Rocket's Mewtwo. But when everything's calmed down, I'll be able to get it at the most reasonable price, whatever that may be. Things will get better. We're already seeing it. Things are already getting a little better. You just have to be patient. You just have to fight the FOMO. You just have to be okay with the fact that right now you might not be able to afford the hobby in the capacity that you're used to or that you want. And you just make adjustments, you wait it out, and then whenever things become cheaper, whenever all of these extra printings finally hit stores, the scalpers will move out. They'll be back in 2 or 3 years whenever the next big hype phase happens, but that's your time to enjoy the hobby as a collector. And in the meantime, just focus on whatever else you want to. If you can't go in on Destined Rivals, then maybe start looking at some graded cards or some vintage promos. TCGs have so many facets for collectors to explore that if one of them gets a bit too extreme, you can explore a different one. You can move to a different card game, a different market for those cards, and that's okay. You just have to accept the fact that for Pokemon at least, we do move in these cycles where product becomes impossible to get and then there's product everywhere and prices fluctuate. The price of some cards may never go back down, but that's just another part of the hobby. Magikarp's always going to be a popular Pokemon. Pikachus and Mewtwo's and Charizards, the prices will fluctuate and you kind of have to learn when they hit their bottoms and buy them as cheaply as possible, or just be okay with the fact that you might buy them in the middle of the market and overpay a little bit, but in the long run, you got the card that you wanted, you get to put it in your binder, and hopefully maybe it gets a little more expensive. If not, you still have a cool looking card in your binder, which is what it's all about. So this is my prediction. I think when Black Bolt White Flare releases, the FOMO is going to be too much. The prices are going to be too much. A lot of people are going to exit the hobby. A lot of the scalpers will move out because you can't really make a profit if you're having to pay $250 for a box and people aren't willing to pay over $250 for a box. I think there'll be a lot of turmoil within the hobby around the time of release. I think shortly after, we're going to see a lot of these reprints hitting shelves. We're going to see all these tertiary products making packs more available without having to go in on a booster box or booster bundles or an ETB. And I think with a mass exodus of people, things will calm down again. Reprints for Black Bolt White Flare will happen into the end of the year, early next year. Pokemon will keep up with demand. They're really good about not necessarily printing to demand and making product too available, but they're really good at hitting that point just below, to where if you're really looking for product, you can find it, but they're not necessarily flooding the market with Pokemon product. It's very smart. They're very good at this. So I think beginning of fourth quarter, this is when we're going to see a major change. I think around that time, product will be available, prices will go down, people will be able to open packs to whatever level they desire, and we'll have a period of calm moving into Legend ZA. Maybe another short boom once Gen 10 releases and we start seeing some Gen 10 sets. But I do think we will get back to a point which feels like the end of Sword and Shield, beginning of Scarlet and Violet, where everything's pretty calm. And if you want to open packs, you can go get packs and prepare for the next wave that we're going to see in a couple years. Because, as I always repeat, 2 to 3 year cycles. Pokemon keeps moving in cycles. This is where we're at. It would take something pretty extreme to break that cycle. And maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe these mega sets are going to be extreme enough to break that cycle. We don't know until we get there. Again, this is just my prediction. This is where it seems like we're heading. This is my hope, is that the hype levels get so high that it actually kills the hobby for a lot of people. The people that weren't going to stick around anyway. The people that only exist in the hobby for the highs and never the lows. And then we just get a period of time where we get to sit back and enjoy some nice artwork, the process of collecting. Whether you agree or disagree, I would love to hear from you down below. This is a topic I love talking about. Really like to sit back and watch as someone that has been through all of these cycles, as someone that has seen Pokemon at its highest highs and lowest lows. So please, let's get a discussion going. Let me know your thoughts on where we're heading, and if you think all of these signs that I'm noticing are indicative of what I think is going to happen, or there's just a bunch of other explanations. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate the opportunity to rant in between doing all of these different deck tech videos. So if you enjoy what I do on the channel, go check out all the other playlists I have. TCG history, deck lists, weird product reviews. I hope to see you there. Bye bye now.